Hi there, I'm Gabe Felker with Asking Penn State, where we ask questions and find the science behind them. Here we have a 4x5 camera. It's a very old camera from the 1800s here. Not quite this one from the 1800s, but this is when these cameras were made. Today I'm going to be showing you how the process of film works.
And it's something that when people get into the darkroom, they're really amazed that there's so many choices. But it's always been about choices and technology. So you have to figure out what camera, what film you're using.
Here I have a loaded piece of film in this cartridge and this 4x5 camera. What I'm going to do is stick this cartridge in here in the back of the camera. I already have this focus, but basically what you'd be doing to focus the camera is to take the sheet, throw it over your head, get down into here, and basically focus the camera with the lens open. Very old traditional style of film. Not many people use it this day and age.
You have to compose, you have to meter for your image, and using a light meter in your camera, you can go with a very deceptively easy, you just follow the light meter, or if you get more involved, the process of even exposing your film and how you develop it becomes an adventure in and of itself.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my aperture on the camera to 5.6. I'm going to set my shutter speed to 1 second. And basically what an aperture is how open or how closed the lens is going to be when I take the picture. Here I have it at 5.6 and 1 second. I'm going to prime the picture. This primes it. And then when I click this, it's going to take the picture. Here, I'll show a demonstration. There's the picture, but I haven't actually taken it yet. So I'm going to prime it again. I'm going to lift the side of paper, the lift side of the cartridge where the paper is facing. I have it all primed. I'm going to take the image. Image is taken, so I close this and take it out. There we have the picture. I am back from developing the film, and here we have our completed picture. As you can see, we got a picture of the couch, kind of cut off, but it's developed. We have a negative here.
And then you go through a step process. The emulsion that holds the silver salts that have become unstable from the exposure of light and the photons kind of partially breaking those bonds, it's in gelatin, right? It's suspended in gelatin. So what you do is you set your chemistry up and you do a pre-wash, which you put water into the canister and you let it sit for a minute to a minute and a half at 68 degrees. And that helps hydrate your gelatin so that when you introduce the developer, it can go ahead and start in a really smooth gradation working.
So here we have developer. This develops the image. You'd be seeing the image through this, and all you do is throw it in with some of the developer. Make it go back and forth, covering the entire image.
The process is you have your pre-wet, which is 68. All the chemistry should be at 68 degrees. The process is endothermic, so it doesn't give off heat. It takes heat, and so the heat needs to be regulated at 68 degrees typically, unless you've adjusted for your very particular water where you live. And so you pre-wet it, and then you would dump that out, and what comes out is kind of a bluish green, and it's a dye that's on the back of film. But so you do this for a certain amount of time, and as you do it, you agitate it, and what you're trying to do is control the development. And there are many techniques to do this to have some level of variance. Once that's done, you would pour that out, and it's usually a one-use solution. Then you would introduce a stop bath. So you have a developer, and then you want to stop it. So use a stop bath. and that's an incredibly mild acid. It's glacial acetic acid, which is much less acidic than coffee, and like times less acidic than orange juice or tomato soup. But when you say acid, everybody gets all kind of freaked out. Mm-hmm. You put it in there for a minute with agitation, and you're trying to neutralize that alkali. You pour that back in the container because you can use it over and over because it's just a simple acid. Then you introduce a fixing agent, and the fixing agent is sodium thiosulfate, and it's this chemical that removes any silver that has not been oxidized. And they call it a fixing agent because if you were to stop after the stop bath, the silver salts would continue to expose and then through time develop themselves with what's in the air. So you have to remove that. And the fix is really what changed photography, because for a long time, nobody could figure out how to affix the image to the substrate. Mm-hmm. So the fixer strips off the silver that has not gotten enough light or been interrupted by the photons to become silver oxide.
The same process works for 35 millimeter in a little different way. All you do is throw it into a canister, pour the developer into the canister, shake it around, dump it out, put the stop bath in, shake it around, dump it out, put the fixer in, shake it around, dump it out, and then perm wash, water wash.
From there you would rinse that, so you kind of dilute that a little bit, and then you would put a fixer remover, and it's a chemical that takes the fixer out, because if you don't, the fixer will continue to eat at the silver. And so this kind of neutralizes that, and it allows you to then have a running water bath for about 5 minutes to have film that is clean.
Alrighty, for the last step here, all we're doing is taking a squeegee with the image and wiping off the water just to get it a little bit more cleaner. And then overnight, you're gonna take it over here, throw it on one of these racks to let it dry, and you'll have a fully developed negative. Now a negative is basically the reverse of what you wanna get here. See, this person here had taken an image of a person and their entire body is white here when we want the black to be filled into here. Their face is converted and it's basically an inverse of the image. Once we take it into our developing room, we'll take it, place another piece of paper on top of it, shine it with a light, and you'll have a fully developed positive. Now positive would look somewhat similar to this, where this person here had fully developed a positive image. As you can see, there's a lot more detail, there's more space covered, and you get a better picture.
I think I'm noticing that because it's not something that you all do, you don't appreciate how much the specificity is important. Or they mix up the chemistry, right? Like I can't tell you how many people use the fixer first and then like there's nothing on the film at all. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing it so long that I can just look and figure out exactly where the misstep happened.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Asking Penn State. Again, I'm Gabriel Felker, and I just showed you the process of film. I look like a wizard.
You look like a wizard.
Yeah. Well, good. A couple of magic spells and the picture's gonna come out.